Okay, so we've talked about slope-intercept form, talked about graphing, being able to put your 2 points onto that graph, and how to do that. And so now we're going to actually talk a little bit about what's called an inequality. Okay. So we've talked about it as like this, something like this. Okay. But now you're going to have inequalities in your line. And so if you remember from the other video, an inequality means that you have more than just one answer. Now, if I did this, okay, that means that my line is going to have one specific answer. Okay, so the way that I teach this is that I say you need to change this out. You say all my answers, okay, are on the line. Okay, that's what the equal sign means. So all of my answers are on the line, because this part right here, that's really what you're doing when you graph. That is your line. Now if I was to change this up and make this an inequality, it's actually set up the exact same way. You're going to graph it the exact same way, but we're going to have one more piece to the puzzle when we do graph one of those. So let's change this up. So all my answers, okay? Now we would say, looking at this sign, we hit this side first, so that is a less than, okay? So the small side, hitting it first from left to right, is a less than. So we'll say is less than, okay? Is less than, and then we say my line, okay? So all my answers, I guess it would be are, get my English correct here. There we go. So all my answers are less than my line. Okay? So now that if you can look at it with that and change those phrases out in your mind, it really helps out. So let's change out some of these for numbers and things that we can use when we graph. So I'm going to use the same numbers for both of these here, so that we can kind of compare the, kind of see what's different about them. Let's see. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, pretty simple one there. And then I'm going to write the same thing here, kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at. So let's go ahead and graph this. If you were watching the other videos, you should have a pretty good idea of how to put this onto a graph. Now, if you don't, you need to go back and watch that because it's really important. So we start with the B first, or the y-intercept. I'm going to go from here, 1, 2, put my first dot. And now I have a positive 1/2, which is my, rise and run. Okay, so rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1, over, and I always go to the right. It's just how it works. That's how I taught. Up 1, over 2. Put a dot. Now you connect the dots. Now you want to get a little bit more, precise, obviously, but for this example, I'm going to just kind of estimate where the line is. See, it's kind of straight, so use that. And it's going to keep going in those directions. All right, so once again, same idea here. You're going to graph it the same exact way. So if you were doing really good at graphing equals, right, equations, you're going to do really good in graphing these. It's just a matter of telling me where all my answers are. Okay, so once again, go up to 1, 2, put a dot. Now, positive number, go up 1, to the right, 2. Okay, connect your lines, pretty close to the same. Well, obviously this one's a little bit steeper of a slope, but you get the idea. So we'll pretend, use your imagination, that both of those lines are the same. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this equal sign means that all of my answers are only along that line, okay? There's no answers down here, there's no answers up here, nothing. That's done, okay? Now, for this one, oh, I should probably do this. Make it correct there. It's because these lines actually they are very important. So if you have a solid line, you're gonna have a solid line here, okay? If you have what we did with that one, you actually have a dotted line. And I do that every time and I forget, and then I have to sit there and go, there's my dotted line. So don't forget that. So we graphed it the same, but now we're saying all of my answers are below or equal to my line, okay? That's why we actually make it a solid line, because it's part of the line. So all of my answers are below the line. And so the way that you do this, it's called shading. So we're going to actually shade all this area underneath the line, okay? And now what you can do is you can actually check to see if you shaded the right side. I'm going to use 0, 0. If you use 0, 0, you probably are choosing the easiest point to use to check. So choose 0, 0 and see if this side of the line that you shaded is correct. It's going to make this true right here. So we'll plug in a 0 for y, 1/2, 0 for x, plus 2. Okay, so 1/2 times 0, that's 0, that goes away. So now you have 0 is less than or equal to 2. So, is that true? You're dang right that's true. 0 is less than or equal to 2. So that point that you chose that's in the black side over there, the shaded inside, that works. It makes this line true. Now if I chose up here, it wouldn't be true. Let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I chose 0, 6. Okay, so let's plug that in. So y would be 6 is less than or equal to 1/2. X is 0 plus 2. Okay, so 1/2, once again, that goes as 0. So now I have 6 is less than or equal to 2. Well, that's not right. 6 is not less than or equal to 2, so that point is wrong. And so that's why it's actually not shaded in. So, comparing the two lines, once again, we're using our imagination to make sure that those are right, or the same, because my graphs are a little different there. So, just changing the sign, it just says all my answers are below the line or above the line, or not just on the line. Okay? So it's graphing it the exact same way, so it shouldn't be intimidating if you have the graphing part down. Alright, so hopefully you do, and hopefully this is being a little bit easier for you, and we'll see you in the next video.